his father had loved to say. But 10 years in this job, and Rahul knew evil possessed all the real strength. Good just had to keep on faking it to stay in the fight. "Is the case all you care about?" she asked, and the sadness in her tone multiplied the weight dragging at Rahul's limbs many times over. "Never mind," she said before he could answer, letting him off the hook and reaching for the anger she had embraced so determinedly these past few months. Over the years, Rahul had marveled at how Kimi kept herself from anger, from real anger. Because whether she was throwing her playful bluster at him to push his boundaries, or trying to hide from him all the frustration of wanting impossible things, she never let the anger consume her. Not the way he did. Even now, when she had every reason to be furious with him, it was taking her some effort. Her shoulders squared, her jaw tight, the deliberate effort reminding him of the way she had once tried to walk in heels too high. And that made him feel at once too big and too small. The crystalline brown of her eyes darkened with the words she was about to say, and Rahul braced himself. "I'm going to give you what you want. I'll tell you what happened with Asif Khan. But after that, you have to promise that you'll leave me alone." She took a breath, steadied her voice. "Forever. I never want to see you again, Rahul." It was the 9th time in the span of their friendship that Kimi had said those words to him. Yes, he kept count. He kept count of everything. 4 surgeries, 108 hospitalizations, 26 transfusions, 7 times that the doctors had asked her family to say their goodbyes, and 9, "I never want to see you agains." He gave her his disbelieving look, because he couldn't let her see how much he hated when she said those words, when he believed them for those first few seconds. "I mean it this time, Rahul," she said with her jaw set. But then the impact of her declaration gathered in a sheen across her eyes. He was about to reach for her, but she caught the hesitation in his fingers and he stopped. The rush of longing in her gaze lasted the barest second before she turned it back into a glare. Her anger regained steam as she squeezed her eyes shut and stemmed the tears before they fell. She backed away from him without waiting for him to respond. She knew him too well for that. "Let's do this in Papa's office. He's waiting for us." She headed up the dramatically sweeping marble staircase that still felt alien beneath Rahul's feet, even though he'd stopped using the servant stairs years ago. "I want Papa to be there for this." Kirit Patil greeted them without leaving his deep winged chair in his dark-paneled, high-ceilinged library office. The wall of windows behind him framed an orange morning sky over a blue-gray ocean, a backdrop befitting the longest-serving Home Minister of Maharashtra state and one of Bollywood's greatest erstwhile superstars. But Rahul's mentor no longer looked anything like the larger-than-life hero who had saved Rahul from every roadblock and landmine life had thrown in his path. He looked defeated. After all these years, they were just 2 men equalized by their inability to protect the girl who tied them together. Kimi walked to the windows and stared out at the ocean across the building-covered hill that the mansion was perched on top of. Rahul tried not to think about how a reckless trip down to that very strip of beach with her had changed the course of his life. Tried not to think of how well she wore the calm she'd always known how to pull on for the benefit of everyone around her. More than anything else, he had wanted her to learn how to pull it on for her own benefit. And now here it was. She rubbed the transplant scar that ran down her chest under the intricately embroidered silk of her kurta, and threw him a glance that caught the flash of all they had shared in his eyes before he looked away. Kirit pointed to the chair next to him, but Rahul couldn't sit. It had nothing to do with the fact that he never sat in the minister's presence. He was too wound up to sit down. "This won't take long," Kimi said, her entire focus back on the ocean. 2 months ago, I was working on a story and waiting outside Mitibai College to speak with students about a starlet's private picture.